Welcome to In Your Neighborhood. I'm your host, Jennifer Wakeman. On this episode, we're going backstage at Bloomsburg Theater Ensemble.
Buckle up, kids. This day just got awesome.
I sting like a butterfly, whoa, and punch like a flea.
Jack, there ain't no shame in that game.
Makes a man feel a little frisky.
Hey.
Duck Dynasty, new season, Wednesdays at 10, only on A&E.
We're doing kind of like a food shuffle here. Here we go, tuna tots. Off the hook. Aha. This is the kicker. Really out of bounds.
You are going to love this. All new Guys Big Bites, Sunday morning at 10:30.
Home. It's more than just an address. It's first steps, big events, and the small moments. Here's what home means to you. And we want to see more. Take a photo, tag it, and share the love of all things home. HGTV. Love home. Keep the photos coming.
For 35 seasons, the Bloomsburg Theater Ensemble has been just that, an ensemble theater in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Their founding was due in large part to the influence of famed acting director Elvina Krause.
In the late 70s, the late 1970s, there was a teacher by the name of Elvina Krause who was teaching at Northwestern University. She also had a connection down here at Eaglesmere and also in Bloomsburg. And she persuaded, her mantra was, every town in America deserves a theater. And she persuaded a bunch of students who were at Northwestern to come down here to take classes with her, because she was a really well-known teacher, widely known throughout the country.
A small group of students followed Krause to central Pennsylvania for the summer to study acting.
Their intent was to take an opportunity that was offered to them to come and take a summer class with her, so that they would get intensive one-on-one work time with her. And I think during the course of that, it was the conversations obviously came up about, what is theater, why is it important in a community?
As the students began to look for opportunities after graduation, the idea of finding a place to do the kind of theater they felt passionately about held some promise. It
became a kind of a melding of different forces, with her being very strong and a very strong personality, saying that, Bloomsburg deserves a theater. Why don't you guys start it here? And that's what happened, and that's why her picture's in our lobby, her name's on our theater.
James Good is a founding member of BTE.
When we started in 1978, a resident ensemble was very unusual in the United States. It's more common in Europe, and in fact a lot of the theaters that you study in theater history were ensembles, Shakespeare's company, Moliere's company, a lot of the great European companies were ensembles. The way we defined it was that it's a resident company of artists who, as a collective, function as the artistic director. And that very specifically means that the members of the ensemble choose the plays we do, we choose our directors, we articulate the mission of the company, we choose our members, and we elect our leaders. So not only are we busy doing the work on the stage, but we have behind the scenes work we do in planning the season and deciding what we're going to do, because what we do expresses what the company is.
The idea of creating an ensemble theater was so novel in 1978 that few people believed the fledgling organization would survive.
We were advised actually not to do it, but by industry big shots. But we didn't listen to them, and now we're here 35 years later, and now in this 35 years there have been a lot of ensembles starting around the country. And in fact, we are sometimes called upon to talk to classes or answer questions from students around the country, because we sort of, there are some departments that study us.
Over the years, the number of ensemble theaters has grown. In 1996, BTE, along with 7 other ensembles, came together to found NET, the Network of Ensemble Theaters.
When they started out as an ensemble, it was a rarity. Now there are, I think, over 160, 170 ensembles across the country. It's a growing way of people knowing and recognizing that's a good way to create theater and to make theater. And BTE is at the forefront of that movement, and truly has a national reputation.
In addition to the ensemble of actors, there is a staff and board of trustees committed to BTE's success.
I think the board sort of feels that part of our mission is to help the ensemble present the art that it wants to sort of bring to the community, to Bloomsburg, to the surrounding regions.
Life in an ensemble is quite different than that of a freelance actor.
The typical life of an actor that most Americans think of is you live in New York or you live in LA, you go to auditions, you get picked to do something, you do it, you get paid to do it, you go to the next job. And you know, you hear about movie stars, you say, well, now I'm famous enough that I can produce myself. Well, we started producing ourselves before we were famous. If we ever will be famous, we don't know. Being able to live in Bloomsburg, to have, you know, roots here, to be part of the community, that really funds the work we do.
Duke Frederick, seeing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, took up arms himself, purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword.
Bloomsburg itself has been the inspiration for a number of BTE productions, including their March 2013 show, Flood Stories 2.
Jerry Stropnicki is going into the community and interviewing flood victims from 2011, and he's going to weave all of those narratives of those different sort of individuals who experienced the flood into a story about Flood 2011. There are community players, there are going to community members who are going to be part of the performance, as well as ensemble members, and we're really excited about doing that kind of sort of collaborative work and bringing something to the community to sort of celebrate, you know, what this community suffered, but then also the kind of spirit of how everybody came together to respond to that event as well.
In 2010, Stropnicki was awarded a USA Low Fellowship for his work.
The reason Jerry's doing it is because he has become, across, you know, he's recognized in different parts of the country, and this is why he won his USA Fellowship, was because of what's something that he's been doing for a long time. It's called Theater of Place, where you create theater where you live, and a theater is about where you live. And he's done that in different parts of the country, and he's done it here a lot, and he learned it here with the ensemble.
Samantha Norton has been a member of BTE since 2006, but was a guest actor for many years prior to joining. For the New York-based actor, BTE offers a change of pace.
We get time to go through the rehearsal process and actually talk directly to the director and to the other ensemble members or any of the other actors on what am I doing with this character. So I think that's what the ensemble process is let's try and figure out the best way this whole story gets told.
While there are perks to being a member of the ensemble, lead roles in every production are not guaranteed.
Each ensemble member has to audition for every single play. They don't just get handed the part. And usually it's the director. The director will say, you know, I'd like to have you read this part, but if you say, oh, I'm really interested in this other one, they'll let you do that. That's the kind of perk you get.
Having the freedom to pursue other projects is another perk of the ensemble experience.
One of our ensemble members, Elizabeth Dowd, runs something called No Theater. And No Theater project is something that happens here. It's been happening for the last 19 years. And every year, Japanese No masters come from Japan, and they teach over three weeks. And people come from different parts of the world, all over the United States, and they come and they study No here. And this last year we had a performance in the park, in the band shell, under torchlight, big, you know, multiple burning torches. It's probably, outside of Japan, it is certainly in the United States, it is the foremost No training project. And that's here in Bloomsburg. Who would have thunk it?
It kind of sort of shows, again, the reach of BTE. This small little town has a kind of impact both nationally and internationally.
The accolades and awards for ensemble members are noteworthy. Lori McCants received a Fox Fellowship Award in 2010 for Distinguished Achievement in Professional Theater.
There's a lot of stuff happening here that, as you say, kind of runs beneath the surface. Is known in the theater world, but is not known to the public.
Just after the break, we'll show you around the Alvina Krause Theater and the Matrani Production Center.